So let's go ahead and start. I know there'll be a few more people joining. We had quite a few registrations. So today's session is a continuing of our webinars that we've been having on transformation and EBS customers moving to cloud. And this one is slightly different from what we've done in the past. And it's talking about coexistence. So in today's session, we're going to talk about what happens if you just upgrade your EBS system. What happens if you decide to go to coexistence? And then what happens if you decide to go for a transformation and move directly to cloud? And the reason we want to talk about coexistence because I'm talking to a lot of customers, and most of the e-business customers that were able to move to cloud easily have done so. And they're very happy that they did. But there's a lot of customers I'm talking to that have transformed or kept their business very specific to their supply chain or manufacturing. And there's lots of customizations that were made in e-business that they feel they can't move to cloud. So that doesn't mean they can't necessarily start their transformation. And we wanted to discuss that. How do you coexist? What are the steps you go to, and what are the options in doing so? So I think that's very important and topical because more and more customers are making those decisions on trying to coexist. And I think it's a great option. It gives you best of both worlds. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, let's start off with an introduction of Mastech so you know who we are and what we do. So first off, myself, if we go to the next slide, my name's Rick Anthony. I'm the SVP here at Mastech. I've been at Mastech, formerly known as EBS, for about 5 years now, a little over 5 years, actually. That's what LinkedIn tells me. And I've got well over 25 years in the implementation of Oracle applications. So I've seen everything from the green screens to on-premise e-business, where I spent most of my career in implementing Oracle e-business, and now focusing strictly on Fusion and upgrades in the Oracle space for the last 7 or 8 years now. With me is also Seema. Seema, please, if you can introduce yourself.
Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for joining in. This is Seema Juneja. I lead the transformation initiative specifically on the Oracle at Mastech. I help customer move from on-prem to cloud in different ways. And today we will be talking a little more about it as we go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Seema. Let's go to the next slide and just spend a moment or two about Mastech so you know who we are. Now, we're a company that's been around more than 40 years, and this particular the Oracle division, which you're speaking to today, has been around 18 years. And we've got well over 1,300 Oracle Cloud customers globally. You'll not find many partners that have that kind of credential. And our focus on the back end is strictly Oracle. That's all we do. And you can see our commitment to Oracle in the fact that more than half of our employees globally are dedicated Oracle consultants. As far as taking on-premise customers to cloud, we've got well over 170 customers we've taken on-premise to cloud or into a hybrid coexistent environment. And you can see on the far right-hand side what customers we have in each of the technology pillars from ERP, EPM, HCM. And we cover all of the Oracle technology pillars from CX, ERP, supply chain. So we are the transformation experts, and we are the global transformation experts because we are in 40 different countries, and our headquarters here in the US is in Dallas. So let's just go to the next slide where we talk about what the advisory firms are saying about us. So Recently, the Everest Group has surveyed customers in various software disciplines, and for Oracle Fusion, they have designated us with the top 5 globally, Oracle partners. And the Gartner Magic Quadrants, which everybody is familiar with, in the top 19 partners on a global basis. They've classified us as a niche player, and they classify us as a niche player because we are Oracle only on the back end. And within our quadrant, as you can see, we have the highest ranking. So we're pretty proud of that. And when you're looking for Oracle solution experts, these are the kind of qualifications that you want. Okay, let's jump to the next slide if we could, please. So here's a NASCAR slide of all our customers on a global basis, and you should recognize a number of names there. That number continues to grow of the 1,300 odd. Here's just a brief little snapshot. A good portion of these are actually my customers directly. Next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to see.
All right. Thank you, Rick. So everyone over here, I do understand that we all have the same feeling when it comes around making a transformation from on-prem to cloud. Migrating from EBS to cloud is not just a technical transformation, which we are talking here, but it's a strategic initiative, a business transformation that can drive business benefits altogether. And moving to cloud should not be always like, something which has to be like all or nothing. It can be a coexistence strategy as well. So today we will talk about how you can begin your journey for Oracle Cloud. But the question first comes in mind is, how do we start that? The first question, right? So we here at Mastech understand that, and we help you by understanding your current landscape. And how do we do that? Mastech Glide 4.0. That's a framework which we have developed here at Mastech. It's a proven suite of advisory services and transformation accelerator. So as we take our first step in the journey of moving to cloud and understanding your current landscape, we focus a lot on understanding your existing business processes, your current operations, and determine the areas of success as well as the pain areas. So with Glide 4.0, we try to address this concern and analyze your system in an automated fashion. So as you can see, the framework comprises quite a few phases here. But for understanding your landscape, we will focus more on the assessment phase, which is very critical when we talk about any transformation. With the right preparation, executing your implementation and your journey onto cloud can be a lot more easier than expected. So here, how we do that? We have an assessment tool which we utilize for analyzing your current configurations and customization and come up with a holistic assessment report. This basically helps in accelerating our recommendation onto your strategy, which it should be either a coexistence or it should be an upgrade. We'll talk about it in detail within a few minutes, but that's what it helps you with. So we at Mastech are happy to provide with this to provide you with an assessment program where we utilize all our accelerators, our tools, and also conduct some discovery sessions with your key business users to come up with a framework and a transformation roadmap. The assessment report, which I was just referring to, is a very comprehensive report, a holistic report which can give you everything what you need. So what we do is we run our automated scripts onto your application, onto your on-prem EBS, right? And we come up with a detailed assessment report. This assessment report comprises your current landscape snapshot, means what modules you are using, how they are configured. We also come up with your cloud compatibility analysis, what it would look like if you take a decision to move on cloud. We also come up with key structure analysis, like what is your chart of account looking like? What is your organization structure looking like? We also do this for the custom components, as we understand that there are instances where your EBS application can be heavily customized with all your RISE FWs, right? When I say RISE FWs, it your reports, your integrations, your customizations, your workflows, extensions, and so on and so forth. We also come up with some key master and transactional data volumes, which helps us judge your data strategy, which we should be recommending. And we also propose a landscape with the recommended approach. So that's where, if you can see over here, this is how we run our report and provide you with a comprehensive assessment. Now, just to give you a sample of what that assessment report would be looking like on the custom components. So this is how you can see that, once when we ran this report for one of our on-prem customer, we came up with these analysis. There were 36 alerts. There were 2000 plus custom database objects, which they might not be using now, right? Or may not be needing now. That's something which is still there in their application. We don't know why. There are custom workflows. There are, more than 300 reports which are being developed over here. There are a lot of custom forms, 21 plus. But do they really need this? So that's where we help, our customer leverage our tool and come up with a very strategic assessment report, which also comprises your transformation roadmap.
And I think this is really important to understand here, because when we go through the assessment, we really want you to understand, because again, when we talk about coexistence or transformation, we have to understand what those customizations are, what the impact of those customizations are, because for a lot of customers that are still on EBS, their secret sauce is in their customizations for their business, because it's very unique to that. So when we sit with a customer, and this was one of my customers where they had over 2,100 customizations, and the enterprise application director saw that number and he said, you see, we can't move to cloud because we've got way too many customizations. And then we offered more information through advisory services, and it came back that they weren't using more than half of those customizations. They weren't using more than half. So then we were stuck with about 1,000 or so customizations. And what we found from that is that a lot of their customizations followed a lot of the best practices that are inherent in Oracle Cloud now. As a matter of fact, of that 1,000 plus, 70% of the customizations were now inherent in Fusion. So that left us with about 300 or so customizations, and more than half of those we can actually address through change management. So in the end, we ended up only having about 90 customizations. That more than 80% of that was one application that we built through an extension. And for them, then they were able to see the light and understand the complexity of really moving to cloud. So in that particular case, it wasn't a coexistence. They decided to transform and move directly to Oracle Cloud. But this assessment is a comprehensive assessment. It takes an hour of your time, but for us, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to collect the information and then give you a report from that, oftentimes a 52-page report that gives you recommendations, what the variance is, and what new enhancements that you'll get from Oracle Cloud. And what we end up doing with that is giving that to you, and that is complimentary as part of our advisory services. I just wanted to bring that up on this slide. So carry on.
Sure, Rick, thank you for that. So now once we are through with our, understanding of the current infrastructure, your current landscape, The next question or the next thing to decide on to is what should be the right cloud strategy, right? So there are quite a few options over here, as you can see, and we will talk about each of them in detail today. So the first option is to upgrade to the latest release of your existing cloud Oracle portfolio, right? The second one is to adopt a coexistence strategy, a new Fusion Cloud application or a module which can kind of, enhance your Oracle application portfolio. And you can, slice and dice what would need to go on cloud and what remains on on-prem. The third one is a full transformation, where we embrace the complete suite by deploying the comprehensive suite of Fusion applications on cloud. Right. So let's talk about the first option, which is upgrading and refreshing your, you know, on-prem application. So when we get into such kind of discussions with the customer, the first step which we already took was assessing the your current application. So with this option, the assessment is a little different, right? We assess your current version of database, we assess your customization, we review your hardware infrastructure, how it is looking like. We also ensure that the compliance regulations, if there are any from SOX or GDPR perspective, in the new environment are being met with this approach. So that's basically on the assessment. So here you can see that we have a detailed approach for upgrade and refresh if we decide to go this route. So after the assessment, that prerequisites are taken care, and then we have a very comprehensive pre-upgrade checklist for our customers who choose this route. So the strategy selection can depend upon whether you want to upgrade with a direct fashion or you want to get into a re-implementation, which is a fresh install. So this is a recommendation which would definitely come from Mastech if you choose to work with us, and we will be ensuring that all the checklist which we have for our pre-upgrades are taken care of. The second option really over here when we talk about our pre-upgrades could be whether we want to still stay on on-prem or we want to move on cloud. So we will evaluate moving on to cloud. Either it can be a full transformation or it can be partial. It can be either your infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, or it can be a complete transformation, or you can continue moving with on-prem as your database. So that kind of assessment we will do over here for you. And then we start with the execution. So when we undertake this project, we ensure that the right backups are taken, right, during the upgrades, and we have our roll up and backup plan in place. We plan for our data migration and minimal downtime. And with the post upgrade coming in, we keep ensuring that the data and the overall solution which is migrated is tested, documented, and we keep monitoring your new upgraded solution. So that's really around the upgrade and refresh strategy, right? The second option over here, which we have been talking about a lot, is the coexistence, model. So since everyone know it is getting a new norm, it's basically a current reality. Many of our customers have been choosing this way just to feel comfortable with this transformation, because there can be numerous ecosystem combination which you might be using today. The best in breed solution for your secret sauce, right? Combined with your Oracle solution on-prem. It could be a mixture of an on-prem and an on-demand solution for you guys. And this application could be segregated by your functional areas or maybe geographical areas, and maybe through the business users community. So with Fusion, we help customer understand that it is designed in a way that it can coexist with your on-prem solution, and it can still bring in the best in breed solution for you with a right coexistence strategy. So, to understand what that right coexistence strategy is, we help you understand in detail what Oracle Cloud brings on the table for you guys when we talk about a coexistence. What are the benefits you will be leveraging? As we all know, the talk for the town is the AI. The new Oracle Cloud release, which is coming in, has embedded AI functionality into it. It brings in a lot of intuitive user experience along with it, and quite a lot functionalities which are embedded out of the box in cloud, for which you might have to go ahead and do a customization on EBS. So those kind of strategy discussions are done when you get into this decision, right? And then we help you understand what kind of applications can go on cloud, while what can remain on prem from your Oracle ecosystem. The examples over here which I can help you walk through is, we can decide, right? We can get, if you want to crawl, walk, and run, right? What can be the first application which we will kind of move on cloud? So here are a few examples. We have seen customers who have decided to keep the on-prem ERP and supply chain solution, but move on HCM on cloud. So they take that first step of moving their human capital management solution on cloud, and then we help them bring that coexistence with their on-prem solution. Similarly, if we are talking about a manufacturing or a high tech organization which is heavily customized on their supply chain, right? Then we would go ahead and suggest to bring in your financials first on the cloud, and keep your supply chain, which is the bread and the butter, on prem and integrate it. And slowly and gradually start moving your supply chain pieces onto cloud. We are also going to talk about one of our existing customers who was using EBS for almost 2 decades, and was heavily customized. So they also wanted to get onto cloud, but they were really overwhelmed with the feeling of moving their bread and butter onto cloud. What if everything doesn't work the way it should be? So what we helped them with was to help them with come with a smaller piece of their supply chain solution, which is a product hub. We brought them on cloud for product hub, and then integrated the rest of their solution with on-prem. As they started using the product hub solution on cloud, they realized that this is helping them. This is bringing a lot of benefit. So that's where they started to, take a next step and started moving into a complete transformation from on-prem to cloud. So that's where, with that kind of a coexistence approach, we can also cater the organization change management, because that's also one of the overwhelming area where, a lot of organization have to deal with. So with your crawl, walk, and run approach, you can you can really look into your coexistence strategy. So a gradual transition to a new technology can be much easier than expected, and then obviously with all the lessons learned from our subsequent phases, can be also managed easily over here. The third option which we are about to talk is a full transformation. So when we talk about our full transformation, you might have seen this slide when I was presenting about our landscape. So we have this, detailed framework where we help our customers move from on-prem to cloud in a full transformation approach. Now, over here, as we are through with our assessment, we also talk about our insight program, which Rick will be covering in a minute. But really, over here, what we do is we get them onto in our advisory implementation phase, where we help them move with a best practice driven approach. We advise them on enhancing their implementation by bringing in, quite a few accelerators in place, and then help them with, engaging in their strategies. It could be a data migration strategy, it could be your testing strategy, it could be your environment strategy. So we talk about those things in this strategy of full transformation. And then once we are into the advisory phase, we help you also move into the cloud by rigorous and iterative uh, sessions like the CRPs, where we definitely get into the details of of sticking to the standard out of the box with zero customization, and that's our approach. That's where we bring in our, modernized solutions in place from our repository. And we also guide our customers throughout our journey over the change management. This basically helps with the adoption of the cloud and really helps with realizing your benefits by moving on cloud.
Let's go back to that section there because I wanted to cover something, Seema. You know, when we go through a full transformation, we don't just look at a lift and shift or like for like. And because part of our advisory services is to help you to build that business case to move to cloud if that's what you want to do, if that fits what your goals are. And so what we'll do is look at all the ancillary applications that you're using and try to match that to functionality found in Oracle, which you currently have, but also other modules that you may not have yet or thought about. And what this tends to do is to build the business case. I had a customer a couple years ago, and their expenditure for license for their environment was across various applications, over $2 million in license. By consolidating all the applications that they were currently using and using Oracle as the one source of truth, they were able to save 1.7 or actually 1.65. So the annual cost for license for that customer went from 2 million to 350,000. So this is part of that advisory program where we sit and do the analysis, look outside the box and not just look for like, but how do we optimize it? How do we build that business case? And the next slide is another way in how we build that business case. So what we do is we want to make sure that you have a direct outcome that is more focused on achieving goals, because success of an implementation does not mean that when you come in the morning, you turn your laptop on and it says Oracle in the corner. That's not success. That's not how you should measure success of an implementation. You should have a understanding of what does good look like? How do you want to measure success of this implementation? Now, as I said in my introduction, I've been implementing e-business most of my career, except for the last 7 or so. And those were long implementations. And companies would build that ROI, return on investment, and the business case for moving to e-business. But those implementations were 3 to 4 years. And halfway through that implementation, they just wanted their lives back. They forgot about the business case for it. They forgot about the ROI. They just wanted their lives back. Well, cloud now will have you up and running in 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 20 months. Okay, much, much faster. Now customers are looking for, how do I measure success? How do I measure ROI? Well, that's what our value-based analytics program does. We help you to understand, well, how are you going to measure success? Does that mean closing the books faster? If it's for HCM, does that mean onboarding people faster? For projects, understanding what the profitable projects are, understanding how to manage those. Okay. And we build these KPIs into the implementation. So we baseline and benchmark those. And what we end up doing is having a program that's built around the implementation program that's built around success. And we go one step further. This is where we put skin in the game. We'll put up to 10% of the total implementation cost towards attainment of KPIs. And those KPI attainment isn't at go live. It's 9 months later, 6 months later after go. And If we're not able to meet those KPIs, then that last payment milestone, you don't have to make. So if we go to the next slide, we'll use an example of what we generally do. So there's 4 areas we look at. There's process optimization, there's system adoption, information output, and auto compliance. So process optimization, closing your books faster. System adoption, that's really important. I used to give a lot of presentations at user groups globally about why implementations fail, and oftentimes it's around system adoption. We can track system adoption for you. Information output, what things you want to regularly monitor, and then audit and compliance. So those are the 4 areas that we've built these KPIs for. And these KPIs were built with OTBI, which is inherent in the product, which means you don't have to pay another license for it. We give this to you, and these are industry-focused KPIs as well. So they will be distinct to your industry as well. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And we'll go through ownership analysis, total cost of ownership analysis. So I always like this slide, and I know a lot of people have used this in the past. But when you move to cloud, there's a lot of costs that sometimes people just look at that are strictly focused around the license costs when you're on premise. And that's not truly it, because I used to own my own e-business consulting firm in Europe, and the managed services and support for an e-business environment versus a cloud environment is about 30% then of a e-business environment, because tied into that was the people, the infrastructure, the upgrades that you would have to go through, which could be costly. The operating systems, the middleware, all those areas, security, backup, all those areas are included in cloud, in SaaS. So there is a significant savings. So when you build your case for total cost of ownership, let's make sure that you are looking at it not just at a license point of view, but everything else under that iceberg. We'll be able to provide these for you after, if you'd like to take a look at that and start to really add up those numbers. Let's go to the next one. So, Asima, did you want to cover our truck? You're on mute.
Sorry for that. So this was the customer I was, referring to before I was, as I was explaining the coexistence. So our truck was definitely one of our customer, which was, heavily customized on-prem, right? And you talk about the modules or, the solutions they were using on Oracle on-prem, everything on supply chain, everything on human capital. So all the pillars that Oracle offers, it had everything. And they were completely, willing to get into a solution where they don't have to maintain it, right? The IT team was overburdened. They had a huge IT team, but they were looking for something which can help their business users as well as the IT team as well. Because every now and then there was something which was, getting break because of heavy customization. So they came up to us. They asked us if, there is a way we can think of an transition or a transformation, since we are, fully customized. At that point in time, we ran our assessment report with them and came out with our assessment strategy and, their transformation roadmap. So that's where we decided to first give them that comfort which they were looking forward for by moving a small piece of their operation on cloud. So we moved the product hub for them on cloud and then integrated the rest of the piece. And we can also do that for multiple other areas, right, where we don't have to integrate. There are a few applications on cloud which can run on their own, just like talking about supply chain planning, right, demand management. Those can still run on cloud on their own and still have the right integration with your existing legacy on-prem solution. So we did that for them. We brought them, on cloud, and then slowly and gradually they started to feel the comfort. The team started to realize the benefits which they were able to fetch from a modern technology. And we gave them a big bang approach later on, where they transformed all their Oracle solution on-prem to cloud within a span of 12 months. So that was the transformation which we did for them, and they are our support services customer right now. They are quite happy with the solution which we have provided, and it was in all various areas as I spoke about. There was a lot of reduction in their customization because we came up with a thorough process to cut down on the customization by having a very healthy process of discussing why they would need anything to be customized even on cloud. They have something today, but why you would like to replicate the same on cloud? There is an opportunity for you guys when we think of this transformation as well, right? You can get rid of the processes which were designed way back, right, and get onto something which is not needed. We move on to something which is needed today, right? So we did that exercise. We had that robust process of saying no to the customization, get into a rigorous discussions with our business users, understand why that is needed. And only if there was an instance where it was critical to the business, we customize that. So I won't say that was a fully out of the box transformation. We did certain customization, but as Rick was mentioning, we brought it down to a drastic low level, right? So that's where we implemented and, are supporting our truck today. They are quite happy with it. And just to talk about a little, facts and figures over here, as you can see on my screen, the scope which we were talking about on the data side as well, those were 100K plus queues which we were talking about. There were 47K of assets which we were talking about, and they have now also started discussing with us about their IoT and machine learning and AI enhancement capabilities in Oracle. So this is how, once you take that first step to move on to cloud, you can gradually start working over your complete transformation. And Mastic is there to help you with the right approach which should be taken. But I would highly recommend for customers who are thinking of this transformation to start thinking in right now and get into something like of an assessment program for with us or any other organization. But take that first step at least to move your to get started on your journey to cloud.
So want to thank you for joining us today. And what I want you to take out of this is something that Seema said is take that first step. Our assessment program allows you to understand more of your environment. And oftentimes more than you may be aware. So if you have within your program or in your roadmap to look at Oracle Cloud and look at coexistent or even look at an upgrade, let's engage. Let's start that assessment. It really isn't a large investment on your time, but you'll find it quite valuable. So anybody have any questions, anything to put in the chat on what we discussed today? Okay. Oh, very good. I appreciate your time. Thank you all for joining us today. And this webinar has been recorded, and it'll be available for you to look at and share with others. We'll send that to you and the deck as well. Thank you all for your time. You have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you.